charged to be here today as a sponsor. So thanks for sneaking that in. I'm here today at the request of your organization to speak to the matter of MELT, mandatory entry-level training, on behalf of as a carrier. It's something that I'm particularly fond and passionate of, considering my position at the CTA as the chairman of the Blue Ribbon Task Force. I'm sure none of you need any introduction to that, but in the event that you're unfamiliar with the Blue Ribbon Task Force, I would encourage you to go to drivershortage.ca and learn more about the efforts of this group. You know, the CTA, I think it's got to be 3 or 4 years ago, the leadership was together and decided that it would be very appropriate that we put together a group of individuals to show some leadership in the area of the driver situation, otherwise known as the shortage. How in the world I got to be chairman, I'm not sure, because I know there was other people in the room at the same time, but I did agree to be the chairman of that group, and it's been my pleasure to see the interest that's followed since we really started down the path of discussing the matter. You know, we really only get together twice a year at CTA events, and every year we get together beyond just those that are on the task force. There's as many, often more people showing interest in being a part of the discussion and learning what's talked about. You know, it started with the idea of wanting to show leadership, but has really gone beyond that, whereby every opportunity we get, much like today, and much so feeding into the opportunities and really the change in direction that we want the industry to go. And I can't think of a better coming of minds than mandatory entry-level training as it relates to the Blue Ribbon Task Force. I do believe at some point in time what you'll see on the screen is the core values and principles and guiding principles really around the Blue Ribbon Task Force. I ask that they do that. I hope they do. Again, it's something that you can refer. You know, there's really 3 sort of pillars of the Blue Ribbon Task Force that we talked about: compensation, lifestyle, and how the occupation has been perceived. You know, compensation and lifestyle are really things that individual carriers, leaders at various carriers own. You know, how people get paid, what they get paid, how they get treated once inside of an organization is really something the organizations themselves need to embrace. But as a task force, we do want to constantly remind people how important that is, because these are things that really flowed from the conference board report around what is really driving the situation that we have. But how the occupation is perceived, you know, we can't help but think about the number of commercial licensed drivers there are within our grasp that are unable to find employment because of a lack of training. It's not necessarily a lack of experience, but rather a lack of training. You know, I asked the question today of Caroline, our recruiting manager, and in the last 12 months alone at KRISKA, we've hired about 140 drivers, of which close to 100 of those came to KRISKA with no experience. But they did come from good schools with good training programs, and we're certainly in a position to provide experience. But what's really important is that training aspect and the way people get started. So there really is the coming together of why we're here today and how it dovetails so nicely with the Blue Ribbon Task Force. You know, we have an aging population that we're challenged with, and there's a lot of things that the conference board report will talk about, but really today it's important that we focus on that training aspect. There's no easy fixes to this situation, and I suspect that the work that we do and provide and the ideas that stem from our time together at the Blue Ribbon Task Force will only help serve those that want to pay attention and those that really want to make a difference. And certainly I would characterize my organization as one of those. CTA has certainly helped fund some of the good work that's going on behind the scenes, such as the National Occupation Standard for truck driving, the Trucking HR Canada project. So the CTA and the Blue Ribbon Task Force are certainly lending dollars to support the efforts and interests that take place. You know, the whole idea of classifying the occupation in the same context as so many other trades that exist, the industry is really crying out for leadership as it relates to coming up with an apprenticeship program that really serves the situation that we have within the industry so well.